What's up, guys? Neil Orfield here, and I'm going to take a look at Stokastic's MLB DFS Lineup Generator for tonight's slate. It is June 15th. While you're coming in, please do like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and hit that notification button so you can get alerts when our shows go live. We're going to be looking at lineups for both DraftKings and FanDuel here. And by the way, if you have not yet signed up for the Lineup Generator, you can get it for 50% off your first week. The link is in the description of this video. It's going to be just $4.48 for your first week. Fantastic deal for a tool that's only going to give you good lineups. Every lineup you get here is going to be a plus EV lineup according to these Stokastic Sims. Great deal here, just $4.48 for your first week if you use the link in the description of this video. We're going to start looking at some DraftKings lineups. I'm going to do all stack types, and I'm going to do all lineup types. So this is going to be a mixture of chalky, balanced, and contrarian lineups here. I'm not going to lock in any pitchers. Just going to see what it gives me. All right, so first lineup we get here is a 5-3 Braves and Twins stack. Looks like we've got a bunch of pretty low-owned bats here. Michael Taylor, 5%, Michael Harris, 6%, Orlando Arcia, 5%. Plenty of low-owned bats here, and the pitcher is pretty low-owned as well. Nathan Eovaldi at 18%, Mackenzie Gore at 6%. Total lineup ownership is just 108% here, leaving 1,100 on the table. Looks like this is a very contrarian lineup on the contrarian scale over here, and also projects pretty close to being optimal as well. So it looks like a good lineup here. Let's take a look. Braves and Twins, the top stacks here. Where do they look in the top stacks? So yeah, the Braves, #1 stack on the board. So we're playing a contrarian lineup even with the top stack on the board. 14% chance to be in the top stack here. A little bit of positive leverage on the Braves. Twins also 3rd on the board, not far behind. 23% chance to be in the top value stack. Looks like a really solid lineup to me. We'll save that one. Second lineup, we're mixed up. Still getting those Twins, 5-man Twin stack, 3-man Astros as the secondary stack. Again, a little bit higher ownership here, 118%, leaving a ton of salary on the table. That's pretty interesting. I think that's the most I've seen a lineup generator give me so far. But again, every lineup we get here is going to be plus EV, so we know it's going to be a good lineup anyway. Still on the contrarian end of the spectrum, still, projects very well as well. I'm going to save this one, and then I'm just going to save 20 lineups and see what kind of exposure we're getting here. All right, so we're getting to 55% Donovan Solano. Just 2K. So we minimum salary, Donovan Solano getting to a lot. Carlos Correa, 45%. We do have Ronald Acuna in there as well for the Braves at 45%. Royce Lewis, 40%. So a lot of Twins at the top of the board here. I might want to go back and get rid of some of my Twins exposure just because, I might want to mitigate risk a little bit, but it makes sense that we're getting a lot. They are 3rd on the board in terms of top stack odds overall, and then also highest on the board in terms of top value stack odds. So it makes sense that we're going to get to a lot of the Twins there, but you could go back and delete some of your Twins lineups, go back and maybe find some lineups that are not so don't have so many Twins in them. Try to flatten out your exposures a little bit, but this isn't too crazy. I mean, 55% Donovan Solano, a bit much. Probably don't love that. I would probably go back and get rid of some of that exposure and go get some different lineups, but not the end of the world here. We don't have anybody who's like 85, 90% who we don't want in there. So I think this looks like a nice enough lineup set. But if I were to do anything, I would go back, delete some of these 5-man Twin stacks most likely, and then try to find some lineups that don't have Twins bats in them just to flatten out the exposure a little bit. All right, let's take a look at FanDuel lineups as well. And again, I'm going to go all stack types, and I'm going to do all lineups. Not going to lock in any pitchers. All right, so on FanDuel, we've got Johan Oviedo in the pitcher for this first lineup. Looks like a 4-3 stack, 4 Braves, 3 Astros with a 1-off Mookie Betts. Ownership here a lot higher than we were seeing on DraftKings, 149% projected ownership here. This one does fall on the chalky end of the spectrum. Also projects well, of course. If we look at the top stacks tool for FanDuel, so it was Braves and Astros, right? So Braves top of the board in terms of top stack odds, a little bit of negative leverage, but still on the top of the board there. Astros, a little bit of negative leverage, still 4th on the board as well. So, getting two of the top 4 teams stacked here. They are getting a lot of ownership, as we saw that it was on the chalky end of the spectrum. But again, these lineups are balanced for us nicely enough. So this one, although, two of the chalky stacks, we do have Jeremy Pena in there at just 8% projected ownership, Mauricio Dubon at 11%. And then, of course, we pair them with Johan Oviedo, who's just getting 7% ownership. So nicely balanced lineup here. We get some chalk. We get some contrarian plays as well. Looks like a good one. All right, I'm going to save that one. And I guess we should look at the top pitchers tool for FanDuel as well. And Johan Oviedo, middle of the board here. He's coming, what is this? 7th overall in terms of top pitcher odds, but also not getting a ton of ownership. So you like that. Looks like a good play. And, he's within 4% of the top pitcher in terms of top pitcher odds. So looks like a good play, and he's just 8,300. All right, second lineup we get here, Nathan Eovaldi as the pitcher. Again, just 7.2% projected ownership. A little bit lower owned on some of the bats here. We're mixing in some very, very chalky bats in Ronald Acuna, 26%, Austin Riley, 31%, but then really offset by Christian Vazquez, 2%, Edward Julian, 4%, Baez at 2%. So a lot of very low owned bats here as well. Kind of closer to the contrarian side of things, not on the far end, but, fairly contrarian lineup. Still, of course, projects well. But the ownership area is just 108%. We saw the first one was like 148%, something like that. This one getting much lower ownership, using close to the 35,000 salary cap. Looks like a good one. All right, so I'm going to save that, and now I'm just going to go through and save all these lineups, see what the exposures look like. All right, so we have Austin Riley, Ronald Acuna, both at 75%. Those are numbers I'd probably want to even out a little bit. Michael Harris at 45%, a little bit more reasonable, but 75%, I don't think that I would love to play 75% of one batter in a 20 lineup set here. So I would be inclined to go back, delete some of these lineups that have Austin Riley and Ronald Acuna in them. Discard those, then you can go back and find more lineups. I think that would be the approach that I would be likely to take here. So you just go get more lineups. Look for one that does not have Austin Riley, Ronald Acuna. So this one has Acuna. I'm going to wait until I find one that does not have Acuna. All right, Tucker. All right, so this one does not have Ronald Acuna or Austin Riley. If I save that, it'll add it to my 20 lineup set. And now I'm down to 70% of each of those guys. And of course, you can, whittle it down as much as you want to. But I think that would be my approach, is getting rid of some of the highest exposed bats here. Try to flatten out the exposure once again. Anyway, that is going to do it for this video. Again, if you don't have not yet tried Lineup Generator, you can get it for 50% off using the link in the description of this video. You should check it out. I just had a pretty good night last night, finished in like 43rd and 52nd in the 20 max, so didn't quite get there. I was hovering at near the top of the leaderboard and then kind of fell off at the end, but still doubled my money or so. So it's been working out for me, and other people have made, we just had somebody last week won $15,000. We've had several people finishing at the top or near the top of contests using these just great lineups that are given to you in Lineup Generator. So check it out if you have not already, and good luck tonight.